Three most important things or values to win in the current marketplace. What are they?
Personal responsibility.
Number one, personal responsibility, right? What does that mean?
Let's own it, let's fix it, let's move forward.
Personal responsibility is huge. Now, you say own it, fix it, and move forward, right? That's easy to say for what? For other people, right? But like when you guys hear that personal responsibility, what does that mean for you guys? Be honest with yourself. What else? Stories. We tend to tell ourselves stories about stuff, right? And I think it's important just to understand of like, man, we all do this, myself included, right? We all, and I'll just be vulnerable with it. I was stacking this morning thinking like, man, what the hell is going on with this like recruiting stuff? Like I'm hiring a full-time one in-house. I have Ryan doing it. I have a third-party company doing it, right? I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, and everybody I talk to doesn't have a script, doesn't have a presentation, doesn't get leads. I'm like, what the f- is going on, right? And my lesson with that, though, is that, and it was a prayer stack. So for me, it came back and said, hey, you can probably fool yourself that you're doing the work to actually recruit, but you're not going to fool God. And what that means is, for me, is that, like, I think He wants me to do it, right? I need to be able to step in and do it, make sure I make the calls. But yesterday, I was supposed to make about 15, 20 calls. I had people come to the office, only got to like 8 calls. And so the reality is, like, man, we all kind of have this piece of it. And so that was my ownership this morning. Like, look, any distractions get pushed to the back until I get my part done. Right? Every day. But the reality is like we all have that part. And so ask yourself, hey, what does that look like? Because here's the thing. It's easy to see it for other people, but very difficult to see in ourselves. Why? It's easy to see the personal responsibility of other people, but very difficult in ourselves. Why?
Because we tell ourselves like another story. We don't want to sell ourselves that we are doing it wrong.
Yeah, we have this biases. So I want you guys to write that down, biases. This is one thing it talks about too, that AI helps with a lot. I was reading this morning. But we all have these biases that mess people up in business. And the biases tend to be about other people and not about ourselves, right? Because it's just a condition we've done forever in terms of how we do it. And it just happens example after example after example, right? And so it's difficult based on our biases and our conditioning in terms of what we do. And so we have to go back and just be obsessive about what we could have done differently, right? And I just looked at a couple examples, especially on the startup side lately. Like we had a couple objections last week. One, the wife wasn't there, the husband wasn't there, right? The other ones won't think about it or something. They had another agent there I want to meet with, right? And it's just, those are the same ones we get over and over and over. So I was going back through it. I was like, all right, so what could we do? If you go back to it, there's a couple major holes that we could have gone through. And I was just looking back, I always want to analyze, okay, if I take 100% personal, and you may not be able to close them, but if I take 100% personal responsibility for it, and I did this for us yesterday. I went back through like, all right, what could we done different? We started asking things. We found problems with the listing, right? They're frustrated with past experience, and what do they think? All agents are the same. So that's what we have to understand. So the problem here is not that they are dumb. It's not that they are ignorant necessarily. It's that their worldview is off. They have an incorrect worldview. And so my job as a salesperson, as an expert, as an influencer, is to do what? Have to shift their worldview, right? So you have to understand, I have a worldview here, we'll call it WV, and their current worldview is here. Now, I cannot switch them to, I'll call it the correct worldview, where I want them to this part without doing what here? I have to expose their current worldview as a lie. I basically have to crumble their current worldview of how they see things before they'll ever be open-minded to taking my view of the current worldview. I used to teach this a lot all the time. This is part of strategic seduction. And so they'll never be open to my worldview until I crush or destroy or expose their worldview as a lie. I think the exact words in the course are, they expose their worldview as a lie. So how do I do that? I have to break it down piece by piece by piece. And I cannot do it by telling. I have to have, in this situation, come to the conclusion that she has been living in a lie in how she thinks. Well, how do I do that? I have to show her real life examples and I have to use questions to help her come to the conclusion. Make sense? And this is a couple of holes, and this is a great example for all you guys. Yes, now what happens? I hook them in because what I do? I destroy the worldview with what? Actual facts and actual numbers. But we tend to do what? Blame the client, right? It's not the client, it's us and our ability to close the client. And our ability to break down the sales psychology at a deep level, okay? And this happens on every side. This happens on our seller side. Everybody does this. This is why you have to be obsessed with breaking this down overall in terms of that. But every one of your clients, same thing. The clients ghost you, guess what? It's not the client's fault, it's your fault. And I got to be obsessed with figuring out why the client ghosted me, why the client do what they did, why the client go what they did, right? And if that's the case, I need to go back and do what? Pre-frame them. The deal falls through, guess what? I did something to cause that. I got to figure out what that is. Okay, and it's very important to understand and figure that out. And at the sales level, it's pretty simple. We just have to be willing to get real and get raw and go back and analyze, okay, what can I do differently and what are the things I can say differently so that this never happens again? And the number one thing that helps that is what? An obsession with what? Personal responsibility. Being that no matter what, I could have closed him some way. Somebody could have closed him. And the first step is there's somebody on the planet who's good enough to close them. You know, they may rent it. I think the other option is they may rent it. And so then that point, right, then I go back and I got to destroy their worldview about what? Renting. Hey, let's break down renting for you. No problem. Hey, when can I get you and your husband and show you how rentals work? Right? By the way, your tax is going to triple. So tax goes about 3. You have HOAs and continue to go up as insurance continues to go up. Right? And the same thing. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed insurance gone up the past few years? Especially in coastal areas. Yes. Do you think there's a fix to that yet? No. So that means it's going to go up or down going forward? Up. Let me ask you this. Have you seen what happens to people when they rent their houses out? Just absolutely destroyed. Let me show you pictures of one we have now where there's dog feces, holes in the wall, everything else, new carpet, new floors, everything you need, which is going to be $15,000, $20,000 in work. We let ourselves off the hook, and every one of us do this, myself included. I do it on a leadership standpoint, right? You just got to figure out, okay, what can I have done differently? And it's very difficult at every level because new level, new devil. You got to figure out what it is. But the good news is there's always something else I can break down. But what happens is the minute we let ourselves off the hook, the minute we miss everything. And the only way I can change the outcomes for me to have 100% responsibility of every single objection. And then I do what? I reverse engineer. What could I have said differently? I'm obsessed with it for hours. I thought about that all night last night. Why? Because that's a closable deal. Would you agree? Every day, right? Because she has to sell. She has motivation. She has reason. And they have to sell. And what's the best option for them? Rent it or sell it? Sell it, hands down. And so my job is to, number one, have and here's the 2 things you have to have. You have to have the commitment to never let them off the hook. Meaning I'm willing to go however uncomfortable I got to go to close them right now on the spot. Not 2-step, not 3-step. I'm going to close them on the spot no matter what because I know they're going to make a bad decision when they don't go with me. That's what I believe in. Number 2, one of the certainty so that they understand how important it is that they don't go with some idiot agent or that they don't rent it out to somebody else who's going to destroy their property. Make sense? It's super important for us to understand that. Most of the flips that we get that are super cheap, you know what happened? They rented it out, somebody destroyed them, there's trash, there's crap. They're emotionally drained, they're physically drained. They just want to get out and cut their losses in a massive loss, and then we have to come in and clean the mess up, and that's how you make money. And so our job here is to go deep on this. But all of you all do this in every level. It's on the phone calls. It's on the objection on the phone. It's on the objection face-to-face. It's on the people showing up for the appointments. Whatever it is, it's all here, and we all have to have this, myself included. And so I have to be very good at calling myself out and trying to figure out stuff all the time. And it's difficult, for everybody. But the ones you get up to another level, you're going to look down and see that next part. That makes sense? That leads to the next part. Well, how do I do this? How do I get really good at this? What do you think it is? So that comes down to what?
Personal development.
An obsession with personal development. This is by far the number one gap of any agent in our office, any agent in the business right now. This has been my biggest aha. This is what I'm talking about again. This is the number one problem with everyone. And it's been a very expensive lesson for me because I just assume everybody did it, right? I assume if I buy some free for $15,000 that you actually watch it, right? Whatever it is, but people don't. And so the difference is this is the number one gap for everybody. I watch people here who will be here for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months and grow so slow, they finally quit. But they were talented, they could make it, and they could be very, very good, but what do?
No personal development.
They refuse the personal development. They'll get their brains beat out over and over and over and over and over, but not focus on personal development. If you're stuck in the business, guess what you're stuck on? Your ceiling is personal development. You have grown to a level that you can grow to and get to, and you're stuck right there. Right? It's just, but what happens is, and I was trying to think of a great analogy. Who here has played tennis before at a high level? So, you played tennis, you ever had a lesson or anything?
Yeah.
You had a lesson, okay? And then you take one lesson, what happens? Do you get really good? No. What do you got to do in tennis?
Practice.
Over and over and over. What's the number one thing that they give a lesson to you? You guys seen? They give you a lesson. I see this at Dunes Club all the time. They give you a lesson, they teach you the fundamentals, and then what do? They put a ball machine in front of you, and the ball machine shoots ball after ball after ball after ball after ball after ball, and you have to hit 10,000 shots basically until you get good at decent at a forehand and decent at a backhand, right? But it takes rep after rep after rep of practicing. And I was thinking, like, what do people do in real estate? It's like we go to Top Golf and play Top Golf 2 nights, and then we try to go play the PGA. Right? I'm just telling you, that's if you do the analogy, that's what people do. Why? Because they think you're a professional realtor, right? That's your full-time job. But you don't practice like a professional actual athlete would. When do you think a professional athlete, Bryson DeChambeau, right? How many days he practice, you think?
Every day.
Every day. Every single day.
I thought they were Michael Phelps that he practiced twice a day, every single day for like 8 years, including like Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, every single day.
I watched the interview. Didn't matter if it was cold, if it was hot, if it was raining, he was what? In the pool. Every morning, right? And so back to the thing, being honest, who spent over 5 hours last week personal development? See my point? I did. Every day. Why? Because I'm committed, and I'm in a growth phase too. I said in the podcast last week, like, look, I'm in a phase where things are challenging, business is challenging. I've doubled down. There's a reason I got 5 coaches, and the reason I'm sharing this, like, I've been doubling down more than ever, but I've been doing this for 20 years. And so the difference is you have to be, okay, perfect. It's like, who here has more money than they really they can know what to do with?
You.
Right? No, not even me. I'm still fearful of like what can happen, right? But so if I don't have the money I want, but nobody's doing 5 hours personal development, like, do you see the disconnect? Like, you have to make sure you're doing it, but people don't do it. And the question you have to understand is like, why? Why do I avoid this? And I know it's the gap. I literally taught you guys last week that it was the gap. But I'm in a difficult marketplace and I refuse to do personal development. Like, you have to make sure that you're doing it.